Welcome to another episode of Geekdom World. I'm Will D.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Kev.
Alright, and this week, I think Alex is going to be starting us off with the last bit of the D23 news we're going to talk about.
That's right. Alright, so before I covered I covered a show they're making with a world about Walt Disney. After that, I covered some movies that they're releasing. Today I'm going to cover some other attractions that they unveiled. And this is at a bunch of their parks, for the record, both at home and abroad.
Okay.
Starting in Florida, they're at Magic Kingdom. Actually, they're gonna add a Villains Land, a section all dedicated to all the Disney villains. And I think they said they're gonna have 2 rides in that land. They're gonna add some Cars rides, some Cars attractions there too. That, however, has got some people concerned because they think they're gonna drain that man-made river that the riverboat runs through. So people are kind of concerned about that. In the Animal Kingdom, also in Florida, they're gonna have an Indiana Jones ride.
Okay.
Where the dinosaur used to be, and they're also gonna have an Encanto ride, which, I mean, not a bad idea because they don't have a section that. I mean, they have animals from Africa, they have animals from Asia, India. They don't have animals from South America.
Really?
Yeah, I never really thought of that until I went back again. Which is funny because like they have like all these animals plus a fully functioning aquarium with dolphins and manatees in Epcot, but they don't have jaguars, they don't have capybaras, they don't have like
A lot of the big ones.
Honestly, I'm trying to think of any other animals from South America I can think of. Oh, tapirs.
There are tons and tons and tons of birds.
Oh yeah,
there are. Let's see. In California, they're going to do their own Avatar land, but this time themed to the latest film, The Way of Water. So
Okay, cool.
So that, yeah, I mean, like, you know, it makes sense. You know, one park covers this movie, this other park covers this movie.
So does that mean I gotta go to France for after you do the Fire movie?
I would not be surprised if you have to do that. But hey,
if I didn't even go to France for the Olympics, why am I going there for an Avatar ride?
there's also something.
You're not going for the ride.
Also something
You're going
I found
for the experience. You're going to France.
Also something I found kind of
the ride
interesting.
is just a bonus.
Also, something I found kind of interesting was in the France park. Actually, one of the France parks, they're going to do a Splash Mountain style ride, but with the Lion King. The 2019 semi or hyper realistic.
Why do they call it live action when it's CG? Why?
It's live action.
Because that's how they sell it, I guess.
Bruh.
That's how they get you, Hank.
Bruh.
It's live action in CG, bro. It's the new thing.
Bruh.
I mean, I'm not gonna call it live action. Why not? I mean, maybe you could call it.
They showed this is gonna be the cast. I remember when this was coming out. This is gonna be the cast of the Lion King, and they showed like James Earl Jones and Beyonce, whatever. When I see the first trailer and it's CGI, I was like, "What you just showed me a whole cast of black people, and now I'm seeing fake cats."
I remember seeing this.
Word.
I remember seeing this video from YMS. Your Movie Sucks. He was like reacting to a video, or reacting to a reaction video, like it's the Fine Bros, right? Yeah. They did they had people come in and react to the trailer, and they were like, they were emotional, they were crying, and they were like, then like they were asking, is this live action or it's not? And basically he was reacting to like the ridiculous answers. He was hearing like, this is live action, it's not live action. It's just like, it's not live action. It's really not.
At all.
You can call it like realistic. I guess you could call it like. Are you gonna?
I've never seen a lion look like that in person. I've seen lions in person.
Are you gonna
call realistic? It's a drawing. It's a computerized drawing. That's a CG.
CGI.
I feel like the Planet of the Apes movies are more live action than.
You know what? I would call that live action because at least there's some people who are alive in it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and sure, like, I don't think you're gonna see a chimpanzee with a face like Caesar's, because
I don't know, maybe
I don't know his
like a monkey.
Well, I mean, well, yes, but at the same time, it looked more
animated.
It looked more human-like than I think That's just
I
me.
don't, I don't know. I'm seeing. I mean, you see a chimp baby and you know a funny looking human baby, and you kind of like, you know, you
It's
take away the
close.
fur.
It's been a while.
It's
It's been a while since I've seen a chimp.
To be
Any
honest,
chimps.
a chimp baby looks more like an 80-year-old balding man than a baby. But I've seen some fugly babies that could probably look a little bit like baby Caesar. I'm just saying. And he was a cute baby. A human baby looking like that. I don't know about that. But, you know, that's just me.
But yeah, no. So those are the big rides that they mentioned. I mean, look, I mean, I do keep up to date with these things because I worked at Disney World for a little bit. I was in the college program. I did it just because I did. I mean, if anything, I did it because for two reasons. Number one, I thought it looked great on a resume. Number two, I thought if I did it, I'd get better chances to like do like a professional internship with like in television or film. And I honestly kind of credit it with me coming to New York, moving to New York. Period. Because if I didn't do it, who knows if I'd be here now? I might end up moving up here like a year or plus later. So I guess in the end I really grew as a person there. So that's why I kind of like to keep tabs, see what they're doing now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's an appreciation
Makes
for the
sense.
opportunity that was presented to you beforehand. And,
I mean, I had to clean a lot of toilets there, but
hey,
that
look.
just adds to my character, I guess.
I mean, you know, it's the same reason why people look back at their alma maters, right? Just like I spent time there, I was invested there. You know, part of my life is there.
True.
That I wonder what they're up to. You know, you have Facebook friends that you don't talk to until you see their like birthday, then you check through the photos of like what they were doing for the year, kind of a thing. D23 is that for you? Just say like, what is the company up to?
Yeah, what are they
Whatever,
doing now?
you know.
Like, what are the people I know there? Where are
Exactly.
they? But yeah, I'm in no way like one of those like Disney adults who like cries when they see the castle or like.
Yeah, no.
I do not live by the Disney sword, and I do not die by the Disney sword.
The most I could say is that I probably will show my kids most of the Disney movies I grew up on. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what Disney has become or what Disney was before, I mean, especially for us here right now, like Disney is definitely a part of our lives.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of wholesomeness through a lot of the behind the scenes BS that we've come to find out as we've gotten older.
The history is
Yeah.
fascinating. They do things that a lot of people don't really think are possible until you see it there.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
And-
my personal favorite attraction there has always been the Country Bears, and I saw what they revamped the show. They like upgraded it and everything, and it's amazing how fluid and lifelike the robot bears move. It's basically a Chuck E. Cheese show, but like with a bigger budget.
Yeah. I'm still questionable on that Walt Disney animatronic though, but like I'm wondering what phrases will it be saying.
I think they're gonna just like take like old audio and archival footage.
That's the scary part.
Yes.
They do it like every 4 to 8 years when they have to upgrade update the Hall of Presidents.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, what do you know about Walt Disney?
I guess it depends on where you want to go.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
So, like, what footage and audio will they be pulling is where I'm like, I'm curious now.
From what I've seen, I'm sure they'll pull from old interviews. I'm sure they'll pull from archival footage. I mean, like all his little specials and stuff that he like. You can easily find like videos that of like from like I think like there was I found this one video. Where he's explaining talking about one of his most well-known attractions. He just gives you like a run through of like what it is. It was the Carousel of Progress. You know that one?
I've heard of. I've never been on it.
So it's kind of like this. It's kind of like so you got this like circular stage and it's split into four scenes. Like one scene is like a kitchen that takes place that's like from the 1890s. Then you're in another kitchen that looks like it's from the 1920s, and then another one from the 40s, and like the seats you're in, like the stage like remains still, but the seats you're in like move around. It's like it's a rotating theater.
Like a carousel.
Yeah, exactly. Carousel of progress. Progress being, like you're going through like different scenes from the.
Can someone just explain to me why we still don't have flying cars? They've been saying since the 1960s that in 2010 we'd have flying cars. Well, it's 2024 and I want to freaking fly like a Jetson.
I think. I blame social media, but
Stupid TikTok. It's always TikTok's fault.
That is exactly it. That is exactly that. I did want to say that, but I also didn't want to sound like a boomer.
Oh, I don't care. I've had to explain dial-up to somebody on this show, so.
I think we're past that.
But yeah, granted, they have said that the attention span has shortened since social media, and I remember being in awe of my sister on the Facebook back in the early 2000s. So yeah, you're probably right. It's probably social media.
The Facebook.
Yes, the Facebook.
The Facebook.
When only college kids could be on it.
The social network.
Yes, the social network.
That was a
one of my
poor attempt
first
at a
social
joke.
media platforms was MySpace.
I remember when MySpace was popping.
I've heard of that
I do
one.
too.
You know what's crazy? It's funny how we talk about coding now being like the new thing in tech to get to, and honestly, I think everybody's first taste of anything like coding was just trying to change your MySpace background.
Yeah.
Pretty
much.
You had to find the whole thing and copy and paste
Copy
it and
and
find where to
paste
paste it
and-
on
yeah.
yours, and you could whatever. That was it.
That was
And that's not really
Even
coding.
figuring out how to do that in the beginning.
Now
was
it's
Yeah.
just
probably
two buttons, 2 clicks, and you can change everything.
if you change it at all.
Yeah.
I know people who can't find how to block people on a page.
Wow.
Yo,
that was probably before even plagiarism was as big an issue as it is now.
No, it's not even that. It's that so you would go. I think Sims fans. By the way, there's gonna be something coming with Sims later on in this series, but there's Sims fans would know when people will put characters for you to take and download into the Sims verse, essentially, right? And then people online will put in different creator content and stuff to add to the game. So one of the big things that a lot of people do allows your characters to have adult scenes uncensored. There's one that's called extreme violence, so now Sims can kill each other. Things like that to kind of make it more beyond what EA gives them, right? Sims is the most profitable game that has never been completed. I will tell you that much. I don't know how much creator content and stuff, from the clothing to the actual programming, world building. There are people who built parts of the world for you to download into your game because EA is kind of just here are these random semi-digitized characters that look not really human, but human enough, and then you have to create detailed the world. And I'm just y'all really make me pay $60 for this game and then $5 for every update, if not more. There's a whole werewolf edition that's $20 now that I'm have to buy my girlfriend. I'm
transaction.
you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think that shoot, I just lost my train of thought real quick. I just had a brain fart. I got mad at Sims.
Oh,
I'm really mad at Sims.
rebooting.
But no.
Loading.
I'm sorry. I had a whole brain fart. I'm sorry. I'm mad at Sims. I really am. I'm just so mad. I have to pay $20 for a part of the game again. Why are you buying more stuff in games?
That's why I don't do those That's why I just stick to platforming games and stuff stuff I know how to actually finish.
Game.
Word from Sims 1, Sims 2.
For real.
What about that? What about My Sims? That was on the Wii, wasn't it? Everyone.
I think that's still a thing now.
Everyone was everyone.
They have
more,
they have mobile
more
Sims too.
Square.
But yeah, no, but yeah,
mobile gaming is dead.
I remember. No, it's not. Definitely not. I hardcore mobile game right now. Yeah.
So do I. So do I.
I'm trying to work in a Raid Shadow Legends joke here, but I can't.
But no, people, Sims players know that you have to take the content and put it into your own game type of stuff, and that was MySpace back in the day. You literally would just find these fake or these coded out texted things.
What about those
put it in your
games?
stuff.
What about those games the Tycoon games like Zoo Tycoon?
Those games would be complete. You wouldn't have to buy add-ons every couple months. It was a game, and whether you liked it or not, it was done.
I feel like a game like that would benefit from that, though. I mean, like, you add more.
You should see what the base is in Tycoon, and you can be like, yeah, sure, but the base in Sims, horrible. On that note, we're going to go to our first commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the big three. So,
The
see you
big
soon.
three.
Come, let's play.
LDM Radio.
Come, let's play. Fun is what we crave.
You're listening to New York City's LDM Radio. Another long stretch of continuous music. Back into time. Flashback.
Make my move, gonna live my dream, gonna make my
New York City's LDM Radio.
The best radio station in the world is right here, right now.
We're back. So, yeah, I mentioned last episode that like My Hero was kind of like part of the big three of his generation. So I just wanted to explain what the big three was, in fact, because the term got coined in the era where One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach were the biggest global anime and manga series in the world. Now, I mean, have you read or watched any of those three?
Yes.
All right, which ones?
All three.
All three. How about you?
I've heard of them.
Heard of them?
Why is one of them even called Bleach?
So, that's real simple.
Yeah.
He's a natural redhead born in Japan, so it's very rare.
Mhm.
And everybody used to tease him because then, like, you know, it's one of those things like homogenous nations in Asia where, like, if you're different, you know, mixed race, random dye, stuff like whatever, like, you're weird, right? So he used to tease him because they're just like, why do you think you're so cool bleaching your hair? And he's like, it's natural,
I
bro.
didn't.
Like, this is just how it was born. So like he was ostracized for it and turned him into like this hardcore, you know, badass who beat up people who were doing wrong. And at the same time, I could see ghosts, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, so that's why it's called Bleach. So like these three really brought, I can't even say brought, but like these are the three series that made anime globally because the Western audiences were captivated by them, right? Mm-hmm. But prior to them, right, you want to talk about the anime that united the world, it's Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Dragon Ball Z specifically in the franchise, but Dragon Ball. That franchise is what made anime like everyone loved it in the Western Hemisphere. Everyone loved it in Eurasia. People in Africa were just like Goku. Like, you know, like that was it, right? But after Dragon Ball Z, there's kind of like this loss for what else, right? So the big three specifically, Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto. Now, I say that because we can actually look at generations prior and talk about big three, right? Like, so in, you know, America has their own big three that is before this, and it's really Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Digimon.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured those were
Those
three.
were the big three for the U.S. at one point in time because Pokemon is the biggest anime boom in my lifetime, right?
Yep.
Dragon Ball Z is the show that you found everybody tuned in to watch, right? But Pokemon was the show that everybody proudly wore, right? Everybody went to go see the first movie. Burger King was selling the stuff in stores, yada yada. You know, like America took hold. I don't know about the rest of the world, and I know Pokemon had a big global influence, but here in America was like the first time you saw all the country united on an anime, right? And then, of course, when you have a show like Digimon come out after, and it's pretty much Pokemon, but more mature, there was a big war whether you were a Pokemon fan or a Digimon fan, and, you know, granted, the two shows are nothing alike. But, yeah, that was a big thing because they're both Mons, right? And then out of nowhere comes this show about a kid with spiky hair playing this card game, and everybody was on it because of the monsters, the duel, they had dark magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Was big. The original series was so
yes, it was.
big that I would easily call that the American Big Three.
Now, sorry, I'm just thinking. So, these like each show in this big three, this American Big Three, they've had like a bunch of like I'm not sure if spin-offs is the right word. But continuations.
So each one of these shows. So Pokemon is the only show out of these series that had the same main characters in Ash and Pikachu, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
essentially, their show is not that they have various spin-offs or seasons in the sense it's that he's traveling all of the regions in his world to become champion, right? So it's Ash's journey, 25 or so year journey to becoming the best trainer in the world, right?
And he's changing his hat every time.
Yeah, for each region, right?
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, for each region, right? So those are your different seasons. Essentially, you're growing up with Ash, and somehow I think it all happens within the same 3-year span.
Well,
It got a little complicated at the end because Alola was supposed to be a different universe until the last series. And, I'm not going to get into that. This is 25 years of a storytelling. They're allowed to make a few slip-ups.
wait a minute. There's multiple seasons within each show, right? Like, how many seasons did the first show run?
The first show might have had 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah.
And then
it's
whatever came
it's
after
still
that?
Indigo League. Then you have then after Indigo League is Orange Islands.
Right.
Then after Orange Islands is Johto. After Johto is Hoenn. After Hoenn is Sinnoh. After Sinnoh, I forget the names.
And then there's Mod.
Huh?
Nothing.
But yeah, I mean that's how it worked. But it's Ash's journey through the different regions in his Pokemon world.
Now that with Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon.
So Yu-Gi-Oh, the original series has multiple seasons, including season 0, which never initially aired in America.
Season 0?
Yeah, season 0 is a season that was deemed too violent or dangerous because he was literally snatching souls in games that had nothing to do with the cards. There's one game, my favorite game, where this guy walks into he just broke out of jail. He's on a complete lucky streak. He meets Yugi in Teia's restaurant because, they allude to some previous relationship between Yugi, Joey, Tristan, whatever. And then this is the season where they go from being classmates to being friends, right? Season 0. So he walks into, Yugi goes to visit Teiya at work. He walks into Teia's restaurant to rob it, and Yugi just let's play a shadow game. And this is before he actually is in full acknowledgement of who the Pharaoh is. Where in Yu-Gi-Oh we get to see that he knows there's another soul in him. This is when the soul just takes over in times of danger. And Yugi plays a game with him and tricks him into burning himself. While the guy's pointing a gun at Yugi, and Yugi somehow tricks him into burning himself. Right? And then they were like, yeah, we don't want to televise that in America back at the time. So season 0 is what it's called here.
So how did people eventually get to see it?
YouTube.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, YouTube was
As always.
Back at this time, YouTube was the mass streamed version for anime before you had sites really like Cumby and old torrent sites. I'm not going to get into all of that, but YouTube used to break it up into various parts, right? Because they could legally do a 9-minute episode. So uploaders would do part 1, 2, and 3, maybe 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you were bouncing around trying to find the same uploaders' various parts because certain parts, if other people were watching elsewhere, would popularize and pop up on the stream before, and sometimes it would skip a part you missed or replay a part that you saw and you would be mad about it. So yeah, it was a hunt, but people would watch it. There's a whole season of a TMNT that aired here in America. I think it was in the mid-2000s on Fox, right? And the last season of it, they didn't want to air because it was deemed too dark. Really? So when people first, and eventually, I think back in 2016 or in mid-2010s, they finally aired it. I want to say on if not Cartoon Network, they aired it on Channel 11 before they no longer had Saturday morning cartoons. But in the season, they go from being turtles to summoning their spirit animals, right? Ninja Turtles are spirit animals, where they become dragons to defeat a demon shredder.
This was the 2003 version?
Yeah. That's the last season. And originally it didn't air in America. You had to watch it online on YouTube, and then almost a decade later, it aired in America.
I got to finish the original show first.
Yeah. So, this is during that era. But Yu-Gi-Oh was that show, and then after Yu-Gi-Oh, they did a sequel, a direct sequel series. I should say direct because the next season afterwards does connect in a movie, that was released in 2010.
Gotcha.
But the next direct sequel is what happened after all the characters from Yu-Gi-Oh made successes of themselves, and one of them creates a dual school. Dueling is so popular that now you can train for it, and pretty much Yu-Gi-Oh from that point into the next 5 arcs is somewhat related to each other. They literally do Arc 5 to unite all the Yu-Gi-Oh world. That it's weird. It's not quite a direct link, but they take the stuff that's from that original Yu-Gi-Oh world and make a world out of it. And yeah, so it's weird. They jump to the future by season 3, and then it's a post-apocalyptic that doesn't finally have an apocalypse. And it's ridiculous, but yeah, things happen over years where this story runs amok. But it's one thing, and the same with Digimon. Digimon season 1 and 2 are created; they're related. Season 3 says Digimon 1 and 2 is a TV show to them, right? So like they are the real world. Right.
Like, it was a show within a show?
Exactly. Season 3 makes season 1 and 2 a show within a show, despite the fact that afterward, like, that's how it's marketed, and they deal with it. Later on, I think by season 6 and 7, those guys are able to tap into their crest power from season 1. And I'm just like, wait a second, but that's not supposed to be real anymore. From season 3 onward, it's supposed to be real. Nope, they still call them the OG Digidestin type stuff, right? So it's very complicated. Digimon, like I said, Digimon was way more mature, adult, complex than Pokemon ever was. From the very beginning. We're talking about little children talking about feelings of love, pride, courage, friendship, all that, where Ash is just like, yo, me and Pikachu on the world, let's go. Like, we on the go.
We just going all the smoke.
Yeah.
We want all the smoke.
All day, every day. These guys are trying to keep a evil demon from taking over 2 worlds. And he's just like, I want a shiny badge, bro.
Yep.
My pigeon can talk. Right? Like,
My pigeon can talk.
So, yeah. But like I said, but before even that, the American Big 3 is an anime Big 3 that no one really goes back to. But Dragon Ball was the king of its era. Whether or not we can go all back and forth, and I will fight anybody about it. But whether or not Dragon Ball deserved to be the best of its generation, right? We can go back and forth about that. But there are only 2 other series around that time that even were of any level of popularity that even holds to this day, right? And that's Sailor Moon. The legitimate female counterpart to Dragon Ball Z, I would say, is Sailor Moon, right? And even the way that it was marketed here in the States and everything, they go hand in hand. I am a Dragon Ball fan, willing to admit that Sailor Moon would kick Goku's butt. I'll say it, just simple power scaling. But then you got Knights of the Zodiac. That was another show. I forget the Japanese name.
Wasn't that a movie with Sean Bean?
There is several movie adaptations of this anime, yes.
But no, I think there was a movie with Sean Bean and like the chick who played Jean Grey in the original X-Men.
As I said, there are several movie adaptations to this. There's several. I think there are 2 or 3 movie adaptations of Knights of the Zodiac. There's an animated Netflix series that came out that was really good, and they haven't continued. Like they completed Voltron. Did not go back to Knights of the Zodiac. I don't know why.
You're right.
Voltron was great though. That's
Yes,
why I'm like,
was.
you should finish Knights of the Zodiac.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, it's something that people keep coming back to and never grasp the way that it should. But back that old Saint Seiya, there we go, that's the name of it, the Saint Seiya anime that we call Knights of the Zodiac here in the States, that was real big back in this time. We don't talk about the fact that somewhere between Pokemon and Dragon Ball, we have Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, and Inuyasha, another group of 3. And that's why when you want to talk about Big 3, you have to use the terminology specifically for Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Now, in another episode, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to get into it, which one was the better series to me, and I would love to get your comments on it. But yeah, in general, it's not just series that happened before Naruto and them, but afterwards, because they did what they did for manga and anime as a whole. I mean, legitimately, out of the 3, the least successful one is Bleach. And there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff to that. But I'll tell you now, I'd argue it probably was the best of the 3 series. Naruto. As Naruto, not Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden, Boruto, but as an overall verse, probably the fan favorite here in the States. But for whatever reason, One Piece still don't know how to end. And it's still running.
Yes, it is.
And it's still, and I mean going strong. People will literally sit there for an 8-minute episode of One Piece, considering that the other 22 minutes are all intros, recaps, and closings. So, I mean, people love it. I was just out of Japan last year, and One Piece is going strong. Believe me.
Gives Netflix a lot to work off of.
It does. I mean, they have what this is over. I think it's almost, if not more than 1,000 chapters. More than, and, normally in a given year, there's between 40 and 50 chapters released. So 1,000 chapters. We're talking about.
And how many episodes in the show?
Probably 600, 700, maybe 800 episodes now. Like I'm telling you.
How?
It's
how is it
in the top 10 longest running anime of all time.
How is it that this show has? I was gonna compare it to The Simpsons in terms of episode length, but I guess that's not a good. That is not a good comparison.
I don't think it's fair to compare it to The Simpsons because out of the last 200 to 300 episodes, most of them are only about 8 minutes worth. So I would argue The Simpsons is still a longer series.
Okay.
Because they give you at least a full 20 to 23 minutes per episode of actual content, not commercial break.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But on that note, we're going to go to our next commercial break and come back with our verses from Kev. So I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to square off. All right. So we'll see you soon. Hey everybody, I'm Lil D.
I am Javier Luis.
I'm Alex Polanco.
I'm Apollonia Cruz.
And I'm Kelly Kaboom.
I am Shirley Phillips.
I am Emmanuel Anzule.
Do you know 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence
during their lifetime?
And domestic violence and abuse can happen to anyone,
regardless of gender, race, or other factors.
2 out of 3 homicide cases are
females who were killed by a family member or intimate partner.
As domestic violence victims, they face high rates of depression,
sleep disturbances,
anxiety,
flashbacks, and other emotional distresses.
And without help, witnesses of domestic violence are more vulnerable to become abusers themselves,
thus continuing the cycle of violence in the next generation.
Hello, I'm Charles Laloma. Join the LDM Network and Safe Horizon and take a step into changing these facts. So if you are or know someone that is being abused, please call the City Domestic Hotline at 1-800-621-4673. So that is 1-800-621-HOPE.
Speak up,
speak out,
and make a difference.
And just know that you don't have to deal with this alone. There is help.
All right, Kev. Who fighting who? Who's squaring up? Who's getting into Octagon? Let's go.
Today I have an interesting verses for y'all. We were just talking about the Dragon Ball universe earlier. My verses for today is going to be Goku from Dragon Ball Z Taiyan G3 going up against One Punch Man from One Punch World.
Okay, so we're taking their video game versions.
Yes.
And comparing them who will win in a fight.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Goku from Tenkaichi 3.
Yes.
He goes as far as to what form?
I believe Super Saiyan
3?
Does he go 3? Yeah, Super Saiyan 3.
The long golden hair.
Yes.
Okay. And One Punch Man. How far into the story do we go? Do we go into the he fights the alien in season 1? Do we go to him fighting the Beast King of seasons like 2 and 3 or whatever it is? Garo?
Beast King Garo, yes.
He fights Garo, but Garo's not a god yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
So tell me, guys, who you got?
I guess since I have not played these games, I'd need to know what each one can do in terms of
abilities. Well, Goku, he has three levels of Super Saiyan that he can transform to.
They get exponentially more powerful.
Yes.
Okay.
He also has, before he even hits Super Saiyan, he also has the Kaioken that he can do, and
Which multiplies his strength by up to 20 times
Yes.
its original amount.
yes, and then he's also like super strong. He can fly. He has the instant transmission, and with One Punch Man, he has super speed. He can time travel. He's super durable, superhuman strength, and he can fly. And according to his lore, he trained his body to the point where he can beat any opponent with one punch.
Well, I guess if he can, I guess he can time travel. Then like he could go all the way back to. He could go all the way back and finish the job there. Now, this is coming from someone who has not watched, read, or played any games, watched any shows, read any of this. Now, what can this? What did you say this version of Goku can do? I mean, I know you just said like what he's got, but
He has 3 levels of Super Saiyan that he can transform to.
right.
And he also has the Kaioken. He can go up to Kaioken times 20. He has the instant transmission where he can he can teleport from here to there to there and back in seconds. He's super strength.
He
super
can
strong.
destroy a planet in one blast.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, they can.
How
Well,
far
I mean,
back in time can he travel in the game? Because remember, this is not the full character.
about,
it's not
One Punch
composite.
Man?
Yeah, if I'm playing the game, how far back in time can I travel?
and how far can
To
you?
be
How
honest
high
with
can you
you,
fly?
I don't really know.
How high can you fly?
That's one aspect that I did not.
One Punch Man has flown technically in outer space.
To outer space, yes.
A feat that Goku has only recently done in the Super Series, not by Tenkaichi 3, nor does he do in Tenkaichi 3, more importantly. But are we sure if he has the space fight in? Because it's not even less.
I'm not
it's,
sure
It's,
if it
it's not even so much that he flies in space as much as there's evidence of him surviving being in space, which we've seen Goku do, but not. In fact, no, we did see him do it as he was in the planet's orbit. He can go but so far from a planet into space.
Right.
One Punch Man made it all the way to the moon, survived, and jumped back from the moon. So he did not technically fly. He propelled himself at this particular feat. But we do see him fly on the planet, although I don't know if they consider it flight as much as Hulk jumping capability.
I guess teleport. I guess time travel is really
right, and that's
the
why
biggest.
I asked how far back in time, because that would be the OP power. Let's just be
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Because as far as I understand One Punch Man, he is a legitimate but still gag character whose gag they've already proven to be defeated. Right, in the first major storyline, between he's fighting an alien back and forth more than one punch. Then he goes super serious punch, then super serious punch. So obviously, like, his hits can get harder. Not to say that his max hit couldn't destroy anything, but just he no longer defeats characters in one punch.
And I guess Goku then.
I'm hands down going Goku because I know. Again, we're not talking about full composite characters. We're not taking from the manga. We're not taking from the anime. We're talking purely One Punch game character, Tenkaichi Goku. His time travel ability is the hackest part. It's not going there. The gag of the character doesn't work throughout the entire game. I know that much. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Goku just because pure destructive power shown. Goku. Speed feats, strength feats, comparing the two video game characters and their timeline in the game. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Goku.
And everyone,
especially since the X factor here is when we compare the two universes in general. The Dragon Ball universe is supposedly larger than our universe. So every speed feat and every strength feat, every feat essentially done in his universe has to also been given a boost because their universe is just bigger. And so mathematically to me, if he could pull off the same distance of travel, in that verse that, or I guess equivalent distance in that same speed, that means in our universe, he's that much faster, he's that much stronger, he's that, so I'm gonna give it to Goku. You know,
Okay.
personally. How about you?
Well, I'm gonna give it to Goku, and that's just because I'm biased. Dragon Ball is my life.
I feel you.
My favorite. Now, I think I should let you know my favorite character on Dragon Ball is not Goku. It's Trunks. But I'm gonna have to give it to Goku.
My favorite character is definitely Goku. I am a Goku stan through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hands down. Even with my Vegeta hairline, I'm a Goku stan through and
I
through. So, you know, it's just that at the end of the day, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm willing to admit when I'm going to lose.
Knicks fan
Yeah,
right here, too.
I haven't
Already.
watched Dragon Ball, period, so I have no horse in this race.
This is true. You don't watch either one. I'm not mad at you. I honestly, I could not stomach One Punch Man season 1.
Is that right?
I was not a fan of that show. It was too comical when it didn't need to be.
Hey, some hype trains you can get on, some not.
I couldn't. No, but here's the thing. I'm not someone that's just going to hate on it. So when people are saying season 2, there's finally a storyline, a continuous storyline. People are saying that the action gets better. You know, I will say one of the funniest moments I've ever seen in an anime is in season 1 of One Punch Man. Like I said, I can give credit where credit is due, right? But I'm just not a fan of that season overall. Season 2, yeah, I was like, okay, this is a much better show. So I will, you know, I'm going to watch One Punch Man. I can't say I'm a One Punch Man fan. I'm not a huge fan of the manga itself. Like I said, there's way more comical moments than I like in my action series.
Gotcha.
I like an action comedy, not a comedy with action, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So... but yeah, I mean, I like him. It's just that from what I know from game guys, like just crunching numbers, crunching stats in my head. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Goku based on the timelines in the game. That's that's it. Nothing crazy. Yeah, cool. So it looks like it's about that time where we're gonna introduce you to a new vlogger. So stay tuned and enjoy this next segment from Lydia Renee Penn. See you afterwards.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying previously, there's nothing in Abyssal Woods except the Legacy Dungeon, and the Legacy Dungeon is super small. And even worse is if you look on the map, whenever you're at the end of the Legacy Dungeon, there's an entire area south of you in the Abyssal Woods that's just not used.
Yes. I'm happy you brought that up because that was one of the things I brought up. And I think there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that because
I wish there was a cave, at least a cave
that just led down there or something like that.
Not even led down there, just like a catacombs type thing, or even a mausoleum could have been down there.
Yeah.
To fight one of the mausoleum bosses.
Yeah. But that was my big problem with the main game, is that there's just a lot of open lands and nothing to really do in them other than to just move. I really hate the term walking simulator. I hate
you
that
have a
term.
Horse.
You do have a horse, but too bad if you're in co-op you don't.
No, we'll get into co-op later because
Yeah.
I know that there's a community out there that thinks co-op is the worst crime on the earth.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But speaking of the horse, I hate him.
Yeah, it's something we haven't liked since the normal game and everything like that.
I hate Torrent. I hate his controls. He is so dumb at times. Now, I know what I'm saying. This is the whole player blaming the controller thing.
Yeah.
But this stupid horse likes to just turn and do random movements.
I will say, though, the one...
I don't like it.
I don't mind the control of Torrent. The one thing I don't like about Torrent is if you just click B or circle, it just dashes forward. He goes for it, man. But my biggest problem with Torrent, especially in the DLC, I don't recall ever having a problem with it in the base game, but in the DLC, Torrent just dies in one hit to everything. To absolutely everything. If there is a way to increase...
stun locks. You get stun locked by everything.
Yeah, if he doesn't die in one hit, you get stun locked, yeah. But if there was a way to increase Torrent's health, I think that would make it much better.
I
or Torrent's health actually increasing a significant amount as you level up.
maybe
would be
maybe it should go up with the shadow tree fragments, the skidoo tree fragments.
Yeah, as we have been calling them, the skidoo tree, because
that's what everyone's been calling them, and then they learn that that's Old English for shadow.
Yeah,
Let's take a bit. I think FromSoft just wanted to be goofy.
I think they did too. Well, maybe I have no idea. They can be some goofy guys sometimes.
Now, another part of the map that I felt was severely underutilized, and I think this might be the most severely underutilized areas, are the finger areas.
I agree.
Literally nothing there except
it's for a quest line.
Horn that you blow into for a quest line. I think it would have been perfectly fine if at those horns there would have been a boss.
A mini boss of sorts. Yeah. I think so too. Because like all the little worm things
are annoying.
They're
terrible.
It's not that they're just annoying. If there weren't so many,
there's a lot.
I think it would be fine.
And I can't stand that that tracking homing
thing that just holds you. It's the hold spell.
Terrible.
Terrible. I agree.
The tracking on that is damn good.
It needs to be nerfed.
Yeah, it does.
Either that or we need to get it. Us, the player, needs it. There's a lot of spells that are actually used in the game.
We'll get the spells, we'll get the weapons, but right now
we're talking about mapping.
Yeah, this finger area is severely underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they should have had bosses at the horns, for sure.
I
Kind of like what they did for the last horn. The
Yeah.
Mother of Fingers.
Mm-hmm. I will say one thing is the talismans that you get for blowing into the horns. I mean, you remember what they make
give more. You gain more Estus from drinking.
Yeah, or Estus, whatever it's called now. But yeah.
Do you have a problem with that?
I think that's not as rewarding, personally.
I'm going to tell you why people think it's rewarding.
Okay, I'm kind of curious.
Because now we have a lot of these helmets that give you a bunch of special things, but they lower the amount of Estus you can use.
Okay.
So now you have that you can put on while wearing these helmets.
Okay.
And it makes up for it.
That makes
As a
me
matter
a
of
little
fact,
more
I think
happier,
you
actually.
still gain more Estus with that talisman on. But yeah.
Okay. That makes it at least somewhat better.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't care for those.
But that's also filling up 2 talisman slots.
Yes.
Which is
terrible. I also think that we should have gotten another talisman pouch because there's just an empty slot there in the inventory screen.
I would say yes to this, but I thought about it.
Okay.
The amount of metas and broken builds people can do with the talisman slots that we have now would be insane if we had one more talisman slot.
Yeah, that's a valid point, I guess.
Absolutely insane. Now, we should have more memory stone slots.
More than 10?
We should have more, yes.
But you can only hold 10 items. Like in quick select. Like quick items, meaning.
Yeah,
why should you be able
not
to...
with spells, though. That's different.
I get that, but that's like the balance.
Yeah, but with the sheer amount of spells that we got...
Yeah.
We should have had at least... I'm not talking a crazy amount of memory slots.
Yeah.
2, maybe 3.
We need to be talking about the map.
Yes, here we go on tangents.
Yeah, we'll get back to equipment and stuff like that. My bad. I think I'm the one.
So yes, that's what I think about the finger areas. Now, I will say, the areas that do actually have stuff are actually filled pretty well.
Yes. Yeah.
The beginning area, you obviously start off in a field, and there's actually quite a bit to do in that first area.
Yes, there actually is, because there's a whole bunch of nighttime events that are there that I've learned about now.
Are there?
There's a couple of
I know that there's larval tiers.
Yeah, which that's one of the things that I rarely ever remember like committing to, nighttime events and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because I think of Elden Ring as a chore. Sadly, I love Dark Souls. Well, I don't like the first Dark Souls. I love Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. Sekiro's the best, but Elden Ring for me just felt like a chore overall. Very grindy.
That
That's what kind of
That's
hurts me on it.
also another problem. We'll get into the grindy
Yes. Yeah. My
of
bad.
the DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we go off on tangents, but the first area you start off with, there's actually a lot to do. There's a lot to pick up, a lot to see, and then you get to your first legacy dungeon with the ending boss being the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. Fantastic first boss.
Yes.
I say first major boss because we found in our second playthrough of Shadow of the Earth Tree, you can skip a lot of these bosses.
Oh yeah, yeah. We figured that out. There's one boss in particular, Relina, which playthrough 3, Relina is almost impossible.
We made a mistake of starting this DLC on playthrough 3.
Don't do it. Don't.
We don't claim to be the best players out there, but don't do it. It sucks.
How many tries did it take you the defeat Relina?
On playthrough 3?
On your playthrough 3.
I think 3 or 4.
For me, it took about 160 times. I lost so much of the finger remedies because I was summoning my brother in and other people to help to the best of my ability because the summoning system is kind of garbage, sadly, in the Souls games.
Yeah, it is.
But yes, about 160 times. Now, I don't think I'm counting any of the times that I just tried soloing her with my Mimic tier or anything like that. But, yeah.
Hope y'all enjoyed that last vlog segment, those commercials, and we're at that point. We're gonna be wrapping up, guys. So, one thing that I did recently was go to Comic-Con.
How was that?
I'm gonna post the pictures and everything after the episode here.
Okay.
But what I wanted to ask was, what conventions have you been to? Because I've already posted onto the Facebook page and the Instagram page some stuff from the August Comic Cons that I went to. I'm not gonna go all the way back to the Brooklyn Con in June, but I posted stuff from Anime NYC and stuff from the Bronx Anime and Comic Convention that I was at. So I'm gonna post the NYC Comic Con ones later, but it's just like it's a full experience. And I just wanted to know if y'all have ever gotten a chance to, because I think the next con I definitely want to go to Ranger Con.
This was all the way back when probably when I was in high school or something in Georgia. I think on 2 separate occasions I went to this thing called Dragon Con.
Oh, I love Dragon Con.
Yeah,
a lot of great stuff that popped up.
There was also like a mini Comic-Con thing in my college once. Actually my they had the Nostalgia Critic there. Okay. So that was a lot of fun getting to meet the guy I've been watching on YouTube since like high school. I also went to a media career summit in June, but that doesn't really count, I don't think.
Yeah, not so much. It's not a fandom thing, right?
Yeah, it's I guess not. But yeah, that's I guess my convention history. All these other conventions you're talking about though sound amazing though.
I mean,
I'd love to go to San Diego Comic-Con. That's like
that is the con to go to. Right?
Yeah, it's the con.
That's the big one. So that's the thing. I went to the number 2. After San Diego is New York,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. As far as the Comic-Con goes, I know if we're talking about anime, I know there's a big one in Phoenix that goes down.
What's this one that you were just talking about? Ranger Con?
So yeah, there's like a Ranger convention for Power Rangers. My cousin,
really, he
actually went to that it was the ending of August, beginning of September. It was actually the same weekend as Anime NYC. Because Anime NYC used to be a November event, right? But cosplayers were complaining it's too cold. So they moved it to the ending or middle of August or something like that, right? So that he didn't know, he had already gotten his Ranger ticket, so he went out to California. I think it's in the Pasadena area, because I don't know if you remember, but Angel Grove, the original Power Ranger city, is in California.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So they do the con out in the Bay Area over in California, and you know, you get a chance to meet all the Rangers. I was fortunate enough at Brooklyn Comic Con here to meet Walter E. Jones. You know, like the first Black Power Ranger.
Wow.
Right. You know, we were so in awe of him back then that nobody realized he had 4 fingers on one hand.
Really?
Right.
Really?
So like that's something that, you know, one of those, hey, did you ever roll? People are like, oh crap, and when I met him, I was like, oh crap, it wasn't a lie, it was CGI. Like, you know, super chill guy. Even so, you know, you go to these things. It's the only thing about cons I don't like, but I get it. For all the celebrities, you have to pay a ridiculous amount for any photos you want taken, right?
Yeah, I get it.
And I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. It's why they come. They get the extra money. The convention gets the crowd appeal, so they get their ticket sales. I'm paying extra to get that photo, though. That's what I'm annoyed at. I think it should come with my damn ticket. But you know, I get it. That's where the convention doesn't have to pay them. They can focus on the rest of the stuff that is there. Cool, whatever. It's just that, you know, that's the one thing that keeps me from going to RangerCon. It's like, do I have to really pay $60+ for each damn Ranger? My whole point is to meet y'all, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, whatever. It was great for me. So he went out there. He took photos with all of the Black Rangers and the other ones. You know, pro Black everything is my family, right? But you know, he's a big Red Ranger guy. So all the Red Rangers and all the Black actors who were there, who were once on Power Rangers, he took photos with. So I would want to do the same, just to have those in my memory logs. I got a chance to meet them. But I'm big on the conventions recently because I used to do it a lot when I was younger. In fact, I used to even work, you know, before COVID, the Liberty City anime convention that would come here. It's a small con in the hotels here, but I liked it because it was small, right? The group, you know, all the staff got to know each other, so you weren't hugely spaced out. You had full access to a bunch of the events. You got to meet people. Great game room. That's my favorite part of the conventions. There, they have a whole video game setup. That was dope about Anacon, was that they, you know, same in Comic Con. You have the video game setup with games that are still in production, games that are, you know, fan favorites. The card section, you know, for people to play card games, and you know, games in general. Just, you know, that some of them are even created by students locally, right? So you know, it's really cool to see that. Just the different stages, the different companies, stuff that's gonna release, stuff that, you know, whatever. That's my favorite part of it. And back at Liberty City, they had a game room where it was a lot of games that weren't from the U.S. You know, anime conventions heavily draw from Japan and have Japanese systems and stuff like that. So, you know, it was cool. I always loved that aspect, but it's just, for me, like I said, I grew up in a time when you couldn't openly be a geek or find a lot of other openly geek people, you know? So it's great to just be in that community, even when you see the ones who, you know, remind you why people used to beat geeks up. And you're just like, you know what, I'm glad you can just have a safe space to be you.
I'm one of you now.
Yeah. So I mean, I love it. You know, I was, you know, you have that super nerdy kid who would, you know, dress up, do the full cosplay and dress up as the character. Like the kid who loved Harry Potter so much, he would bring the wand and cape to school, and then you knew that the bullies would bully him. I was the guy who bullied those bullies.
Gotcha.
Right? You know, but it's a headache, right? When you're just like, come on, don't you know, like, keep it low key, you know, whatever. You can't protect yourself, you know. But so it's nice to know that there are these forums and safe spaces, and there's now more and more people even into it, thanks to stuff like Marvel and then the MCU, that make it more socially acceptable to be there. Like, when the first few Comic-Cons were happening here in New York, the looks of people on the train, when they're just like, oh my God, what a weird or whatever, and now it's just kind of like, oh, the convention's in town, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love seeing that. I love being a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just kind of knows now it's a thing.
Yeah, I remember when my father visited me in college. I think that same weekend there was Star Wars was having a Star Wars weekend. So like I saw people, you know, coming in and out of the hotel you were staying at, you know, in Star Wars costumes.
Stormtroopers everywhere.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. So, you know, this Comic-Con experience is another part of that. I think it's even better because, you know, it's not just the anime group, it's everybody, right? So I'm sorry, Star Wars guys normally do have the best outfits. Their joints come clean. And a lot of it made out of cardboard. That's the most impressive part. Yeah. You know, so they put a lot of work into it and stuff like that. I love it. I love the people who get full on face painted, things like that. So I'll be posting photos of that up later after the episode airs. I just want y'all to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we got to figure out what convention all of us can go to.
That would be great.
We'll probably
I
do
like
that for the
Because
20.
I've never been, so I would love to experience that.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
2025. Pick a convention, go to that.
Works
for me.
Bet.
That's
you
a
know.
plan. That's a plan.
I'm sorry, Exoticon, you're not on the list. All right. It's a local convention. It's just not one we are going to. I don't think it's related to the show. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Although we do know your names, but just cracking jokes here, folks. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that it's a great place to just meet other geeks in general, right? And that's part of this. We're one giant community, no matter our fandom or stand, right? Where we just appreciate this level of creativity.
Yes.
And I know, like now, I go with my girlfriend and her little sister, and just seeing like her little sister bug out when other people are wearing the same, cosplay set as her. So like if she's wearing something from Demon Slayer and there are other Demon Slayer people there, and they'll be like, "Oh, fangirl!" I love that. I love that energy. I love that fun. I'll be glad to take you to your first con.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Bring little man.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Get you into the New York circuit.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So, and hey, maybe you'll see us there at whatever convention we decide to go to. We'll tell you ahead of time. Don't worry about that. But yeah, and again, if you would like to join our little family here, we're looking for a vlogger, and we're looking for a panelist, preferably a female panelist. There's a lot of male energy here. We need somebody to straighten us out. All right. But yeah, so we'll catch you guys next time. I'm Will.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Kev.
Stay geeky.